Hello and welcome back to Higher Sense with Haz, and today's review is going to be on Fallintostars by Strangelove, New York City. Okay, so today's review is on Fallintostars by Strangelove, New York City. Now this fragrance is an oud based fragrance, and it's one which I've wanted to try for some time, and I'm happy that I have tried it, and I'm going to tell you what this fragrance is all about. This fragrance is a eau de parfum concentration, and there's the bottle there. It's a very beautiful bottle with the logo on the cap. Now I believe it's a 24 karat gold cap. It is inlaid, however, it's not solid gold, otherwise that would be getting melted down. Solid cap, nice bottle, details on the bottom there, and yeah, let's give this one a blast. Alright, we'll put one on the skin as well to remind myself, if I need reminding, exactly what this fragrance is all about. Yeah, so very strong off the top. Now this fragrance is an oud based fragrance, and immediately you hit with the oud. Now the oud is an Indian oud, so it is going to be quite animalic, quite fecal. And yeah, I can report that this Indian oud, it's strong, it's animalic, it's almost barnyardy. Now in this fragrance you've also got rosewood, narcissus, vanilla and pink pepper. Now I wore this fragrance earlier today and yesterday just to get assimilated with the mid and dry down of this fragrance, because off the top all you get, for me, gets smashed in the face with oud, and it smells like you've gone for a summer trip to the farm. That's what it smells like. It just smells animalic, it smells fecal, it smells dirty, and for me it's not very pleasant. I don't mind oud based fragrances. I can get away with Indian oud to a degree, but when it's the main player in a fragrance, for me I think it's just too much. Now on Fragrantica, the notes I've read out aren't in any particular order. So we've got two woods. One's a rosewood, which is a smoother, softer wood, maybe to take the edge off the Indian oud. And then we've got the narcissus, which is it's quite a pungent animalic flower actually. It's a bit I would say it smells a bit like tobacco, like a tobacco earthy smell, but it's got quite an edge to it. And then you've got vanilla, we all know what that is, and the pink pepper, which gives a spicy note. But for me, certainly on the opening, I'm just getting oud. It overpowers everything. Now, I'm pleased to report that as this goes into the mid, after an hour and a half, and then into the dry down after 4 or 5 hours, this does calm down. It does tame somewhat, which is nice, because if it just stayed with this scent profile all the way through, then I certainly wouldn't be able to enjoy it. Yes, I can handle it, but I wouldn't want to wear a scent that smells purely like this, linear. The wood, the palisander rosewood, does come through in the mid, and I would say it takes the edge off the Indian oud, which is nice. They say there's vanilla in this. I don't really get vanilla. Maybe after 5 or 6 hours when it's toned down a fair bit, I think you might get some soft woods and some vanilla. Is it spicy? Not particularly. I would just say it's a very oud forward fragrance with the other notes in there to tame it down really. I mean, the blend is very nice. Off the top it's pungent, but after an hour or so it's smoother, it's a bit deeper. There's a couple of facets there, but nothing really stands out. Like I say, it's an oud dominant fragrance. If you're an oud lover, then certainly get your nose on this, but I think you've got to be a particular kind of person or a particular culture to enjoy this to the full. I mean, a fragrance like this would remind me of somebody who lives in the Middle East, or someone of that culture, of that region. You know, certainly I'll give you a story that I can try and relate this to. And like I say, this isn't disparaging comments or negativity at all. But whenever I wear a fragrance, if it gives us a memory with it, then I'll want to tell you so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Now, this fragrance reminds me of when I was younger. I was around 8 or 9 years old, went to school, and there was a lad there who was called Jazzreed. So Jazzreed, if you're watching this, I hope you're well, my friend. Really nice lad, great lad. Kind family and everything, and sometimes I would go around his for tea. He was an Indian lad, loving parents, fantastic culture. They were always cooking all the time, they were always in the kitchen, so I'd go around for tea, and obviously I'd have the complimentary curry and things like that. But the reason this note reminds us of that is I went round in summer and I had me tea. Now, his house smelled a specific way because his parents were always cooking with spices. So even if they weren't cooking, when you went into the house, it smelled a certain way. Like if someone's got a dog, you go into their house, you can immediately smell the dog. Well, I went in Jazzreed's house and it had that Indian cultured smell, which isn't necessarily unpleasant, but it's quite strong and it's quite spicy and it's quite foody. Now, I remember in the summer, I went round for tea. They didn't open the windows because they were used to the heat, and it was a blazing hot day. Now, I remember that before me tea, I decided, right, I'm going to nip to the restroom. So I went to the toilet, and I remember opening the door. The toilet was obviously well used because I think there was 7 people in his family, and the window wasn't cracked. And I remember going in there, and I was immediately hit with this toilet smell. And it did, it smelled like a farmyard, and it absolutely hit us for 6 and took my breath away. Now that smell, which I clearly remember, so it's left a bit of a scar in my mind. Now remember, I didn't even go to the toilet. I just stood outside the door for about a minute, and then I came back down because I didn't dare go in there. That initial smell smells like this off the bat. It smells like an Indian bathroom with the window shut in summer. And that's not me being negative. It's got no racist connotations. Like I say, great lad, great family, but this is the smell that I remember. So yeah, that's what this smells like. And for me, why would you want to smell like you've been working on the farm all day? I don't understand it really. But if you're of Middle Eastern culture where they like to use a lot of ouds, and maybe they're used to that, and maybe they can appreciate it more than me, and maybe they're used to them everyday smells, a Middle Eastern person may enjoy this because I think it does use quality ingredients, and I think it's very well blended. And in the right circumstances, you could wear this. But for me, it would be a winter fragrance because it's so strong and overpowering. I can't see you wearing this in any other month, to be honest. Certainly not in the summer. So I don't think it's very versatile. There's not many situations I could imagine wearing this. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't choose to wear this ever. I've worn it a couple of times and I haven't really enjoyed it. It's I've tolerated it at first, and then as it's went on, it hasn't really developed into a fragrance where it either makes us feel happy, confident, I smell great, I catch a whiff here and there. It's not good. I haven't had any compliments with this, and I've had a few people actually negatively mention this. Another story I can tell you. I went to the World Darts Championship in London, and I wore this before the semi-finals when I went. I put it on. I put too much on. I think I put 6 sprays on, which is crazy really because this is a 2-spray tops fragrance. But I thought I'll put 6 on. I want to get noticed. I was dressed up in fancy dress. Sprayed this on. 15 minutes later, got in the taxi. And I remember as soon as I got in the taxi, we started driving, and the driver kept looking at us in the back. And I thought, that's a bit strange. He turned, he says, excuse me, mate. He says, have you stood in something? And I tell you what, my heart just sank. And I just thought, fucking hell, because I knew it was the fragrance. And I turned around and I says, and I pretended to check my shoes. I says, no, mate. I says, it's not my fragrance by any chance, is it? Now, I'd put a sprayer on my hand, which I always do. And I put my hand through. And immediately he went to turn and smell it, but he didn't get anywhere near me. And as soon as he turned, he went, bloody hell. He says, aye, that's it. He went, blimey, that's strong. How many litres of that you put on? And I went, well, I've put, 5 or 6 sprays on. He was like, bloody hell. And you could tell he wasn't enjoying it. Anyway, immediately put the windows down, and this is no word of a lie. In London, obviously, you don't get very far. This was in winter as well. And I remember I must have been in that taxi less than 5 minutes. And he turned around and he said, "Sorry, mate, I hope this doesn't offend you, but I'm going to have to ask you to leave the taxi." He says, "I can't handle that smell anymore, mate." He says, "It's given us a bad head and it smells dreadful. I'm sorry if that's your thing." I says, No, mate, it's all right." And the person I was with absolutely creased themselves laughing. And I just thought, yeah, that's probably one of the worst experiences in my life, getting kicked out of a London taxi because I smelled that bad. And to be honest, I kind of understand where he's coming from, because I think this fragrance, unless you've got a very experienced nose or you love oud or ultra strong fragrances, I just don't see where you could wear this or where you could enjoy it. I mean, I'm sitting here now and it's filling up the room and I can taste it and I'm choking on it. And it's just not good. It's not a good smell. It's not a good scent. And like I say, I can understand fragrances where they've got oud in it to enhance other notes or to give it a bit of an edge. But this is so oud dominant. I don't see why anybody would want to smell like this. I don't understand. But anyway, I digress. So there's story time with Haz. Now, projection on this, it's fairly decent. I'd say it's a solid 2.5 feet. The sillage is great. It's very heavy. It'll put a cloak of armour around you and everyone will smell you if they come within a few feet of you. I'm telling you, because when I wore this to the darts, I was getting looks when I was walking past people, when I was moving away from areas. I was getting glances and stuff, and I could just tell that they could smell this fragrance, and I don't think they were enjoying it at all, and I don't blame them, to be fair. But yeah, projection is solid. Sillage is dense. Longevity on this. Interestingly, it's an eau de parfum. Now, I would have guessed it was a parfum because it's so heavy and strong. But for me, it's a 10-hour plus scent. It lasts. It lasted. I remember on another occasion I wore it. I went out at 9 o'clock in the morning and I remember having my tea at 7 o'clock at night and I could still smell it fairly strong. So yeah, 10 to 12 hours on this, which for an eau de parfum is great. But I think it's more down to the oud note in here. But yeah, it lasts. So if you like a big, strong, bold oud fragrance, then I think this could be the one for you. But for me, it's just not something I'd want to wear. Now, the other problem with this is that this 100ml bottle costs £760. That's £7.60 per milliliter. Now, for me, I couldn't even if I liked oud, I couldn't really consider paying that much for this fragrance. I just think £760 for 100ml is ridiculous, albeit a couple of sprays is all you need. So it's going to last you a long time. So you could look at the 50ml bottle, but I'm fairly sure that the 50ml bottle is pushing on towards 500 quid. I think it's 470. So it just makes it even pricier. You don't need 100ml of this. 50ml will last. But for the prices, I think this one's a hard pass, to be fair. It's not a pleasant fragrance. And it's certainly not one for your typical middle-aged Englishman who barely sees sunlight. I just don't think this is the scent for them. So yeah, projects well, lasts very well, pricing's horrific on this, scent profile isn't great. It's got a few notes in there, but they're all dominated. So yeah, for me, unfortunately, I think Fallintostars by Strangelove New York City is a very hard pass. So yes, this fragrance will be getting sold on now on the groups. I'll give someone a very good deal for this and hopefully they can enjoy it a lot more than I did. There's not many fragrances that I blind buy and I don't particularly enjoy them. Some of them are okay and I think I might keep them, but for this price this has to be moved on. I'm never going to reach for this. I'm never going to wear it, unfortunately. But if it's your thing, then I think it's a great fragrance. But be warned, it's very strong. And it's polarizing, and I don't think it's a compliment puller. So why would you wear it? Yeah, if you want to wear it for yourself and enjoy it yourself, great, but nobody else will enjoy it. So for me, it's a pass. So yeah, if you've liked this video today, you've liked Haz's stories, then please subscribe, like, comment below. I hope I haven't offended anyone by my comments. Certainly they weren't meant in a negative manner. It was just recollection of situational, well, it was recollection of situations that have been in my life which I can relate to a certain extent. Like I say, he was a good lad. We left school on good terms. Excellent family, great culture. So yeah, like the video, please subscribe and help my channel to grow, and I'll bring you more reviews from niche and designer fragrances. But certainly for this one, Fallintostars, for me, it feels like you've fallen into someone's arse.